welcome to another episode of Cross Border Conversation. This is our fourth episode with myself, Azim, and Scotty. Wow, it's been a while. It's been over a week and a bit now, I would say.
I wouldn't classify that as a while because then the last time was about a month.
Oh, it feels like a while when you're in isolation. A week feels like a month.
It does feel like a while when you're not doing anything with your life, but yeah, that's fair enough.
How you been getting on?
Yeah, as well as you can be. Work during the day, stare at wall at night.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The same old shenanigans. What is going on with Mayweather's daughter? Have you heard what's been going on? I think she's apparently been arrested because she kicked off with this rapper called Young Pug or something, or Young Pug or some along them lines, some little thing, some thingamabog. And she's one of them. She turned psycho. So he's obviously, what's happened? They used to go out in the past. He's said, right, it's over. It's done with. He's gone on. She's then become a psycho, and she's then gone to him, starts kicking off, and I think she's thrown. I can't remember what it was. It was like a glass bottle of some beer or something. And she dashed one. It's hit him. She dashed another one. It's hit him and broke, but it slashed his hand open. And then because of that, she's now been arrested because obviously, for assault, and obviously the amount he cut open and stuff like that, he probably, God knows what he said, like is worse than just assault. So yeah, she's in trouble now, and it's Mayweather's daughter. I was like,
Mayweather's probably going to be in the background going, hard work,
dedication. All work is what is work. But it's just crazy. I was thinking, buddy, you wouldn't expect it. You think somebody like say from Mayweather's family with all that money and stuff that's going on, there'd be people around, even his daughter, to kind of say, don't do that shit.
But this is the thing, right? Is you'd expect that, but this is, again, we're generalizing, but previous experiences or previous things that have happened say otherwise, is that they have money, so they think that they can get away with shit.
True.
It is what it is. Again, that may not be what she was thinking. She may just be a bit tapped in the head. That goes without saying. She is tapped in the head. But the whole thing about not having any repercussions to it, does it come into the fact that she's Mayweather's daughter and she thinks, yeah, my dad's just going to get me out of it?
Yeah, it's not on. He will. The answer to that is, yeah, he will get her out of it, but that shouldn't be how it is. That shouldn't be how it should be.
Yeah, but to what extent will he get her out of it? You get what I mean? Because, yeah, okay, it's money, but you can't throw money at... Well, actually, that's a lie. Yeah, you can. You can definitely throw money at the wall. Definitely. Ignore what I'm saying. I'm living in a utopia where everyone's good people.
You're living in the world of good morals. That's just not how it works. That's just not how it works in this crazy world that we live in, this corona-filled world. Which everyone, this 5G crazy world we're living in, should I say?
Let's just start with this straight away, right? Because
I want to actually know what your thoughts are on the 5G. Like Corona, we get it; it's bad, stay home, all that stuff. But I want to get your thoughts on this 5G drama.
The 5G thing is, right, everyone's saying that 5G caused Corona. Yeah, 5G caused the virus. 5G is not in every single country. Yeah. 5G is not in every... There's only a handful of countries that are actually got the privilege of having this 5G, or privilege, or whatever you want to call it, that have 5G, yeah? But yet, Corona has spread across the world.
Exactly.
Right? So if it had anything to do with 5G and people are saying, oh, yeah, the areas that are more prominent with cases are because are the areas that have 5G masks, I've not seen any fact to thinking that. It's just people saying it. There's absolutely no facts to say that these are the figures of how many people are in this area and there's a 5G mast right here. I've got a 5G mast not far from me.
Have you?
But, yeah, there is. I saw one getting put up.
Heavy.
Not far from me, but it's alhamdulillah, I don't have Corona.
But yeah, that's the thing. That's exactly my thoughts on it, because I think there's obviously countries out there that don't have, like, they say the third world countries that say who have obviously Corona cases, they don't have 5G masks there, and still theirs is spreading just as quick as any other country, really. And then you kind of think, right, so it's not that But I seen a video where this guy he drove up to a mast, and just like on the floor, there's like dead pigeons. Just like pigeons were actually dying and just falling. And whilst he's recording, one pigeon actually went and just landed, and they were like, "What the hell's going on?" So is it? It's not causing. I personally don't think it's causing corona, but is it doing something else which is killing these pigeons? Or like, what was that all about?
I've not seen that video, but I've seen one similar to it where people are saying that these are areas and radiation is doing this, that, the other, right? Let's be completely honest here. If that was the case, yeah, where all these masts have gone up, you'd have people dying left, right, and center around them. If there was that much radiation coming off them, and it's harmful radiation, look, as much as the government do silly things, and there's all these conspiracy theories and this, that, the other, they're not in the game of genocide.
What if it's not intended to do that, but it's a byproduct of that?
But at the same time, surely they would have done their tests. They would have known what it emits. All these things need to go through regulation. They need to go through a test. And look, I'm just here. I know I guess people need to be a devil's advocate. I'm just going with the logical approach to things. Yeah, that assuming that the governments are not out here to kill everyone.
Yeah. Just put it out there. I'm with you. I don't think it's anything like that. It's just I'm voicing the opinion of the people who are saying what if it's.
I get you playing devil's advocate. I get that. I understand that, but I just don't. I don't agree with it. I just don't. I think it has nothing to do with it. Yes, the 5G mass. You've got these videos of people going over with Geiger counters and stuff like that, saying, "Yeah, look at the radiation levels coming off of it." If you go to a normal, these exchange where the telephone lines and stuff like that. If you go to them, there's levels of radiation coming off them. If you go to a TV, there's levels of radiation coming off of it. You stand next to a microwave for too long, you're gonna have some radiation coming off you.
A microwave, the amount that gives off is unbelievable. Is quite a bit. So I was thinking that sort of stuff. I think we was talking, and one of our friends said the other day, and something which I thought, what, I believe him straight away without even understanding the logic behind it. Was he said it's not ionizing. I don't know what that means, but he said it like, and he believed it. And
he had a light above his head. He was. He had some ideas.
I don't know what he means, but I believe you. You just said something I never knew existed. So I was like,
of what we're talking about. So we were all on the video call 3 days ago.
Yeah, roughly
something like that. And one of our mates was there, sat right underneath a lamp. So you had a big lamp just above his head. And he came up with this non-ionization, jazz, and we're all sat there going, Someone then proceeded to point out, you need to stop bringing out good points. Turn that lamp off behind you because you're creating a lot of good ideas. It may sound very simple and stupid and not funny at all, but when you've been sat in your house for about 3 weeks, that is some of the funniest things you've ever heard in your life.
It was a great night. It was a great point.
We lost it. we lost it. It's not actually that funny. People will be watching this thinking, I don't get that. That's not that funny. But you had to be there.
Yeah, it's one of them. You had to be there to enjoy it.
But yeah, he said it's not ionized, and I don't know what that means, but
it sounded
scientific, so we'll go with it. Science.
Science. All kinds of science. Speaking of knowing things, do you know this whole football drama shenanigans and league tables and all that? We've got one with Ighalo. Would you, as a United fan, want us to offer him a contract?
Yeah, 100%.
So why do you think we've not? Do you think it's just because they're worried about this whole whatever's going on with the world right now and thinking if you offer him a contract now, God knows when we'll actually see the benefit of it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but he's proven himself to be useful.
Yeah.
Games where you can't have, Martial playing every game. You just can't. And I know obviously it's because we've had Rashford out, and when Rashford's back, it makes it a little bit easier. But you can't have those guys playing every game. So when you've got games like Carling Cups, you've got games like the FA Cup games, you've got the Europa League games. Not that obviously, inshallah, we won't be in Europa League again.
Okay.
I don't know how the season ends. We might be, we might not be. But when you've got those sort of games where there's a large number of games in a short period of time, he comes in handy, and he's scored goals. He's done exactly what he was brought in to do, which was come in, be the striker, and score the goals.
He's been really good. and you can see the passion in his game too. Obviously, being a long-time United fan, he's come in. He's obviously determined to do well. Obviously, because of Bruno too. Bruno Fernandes, and then linked up well. You know what? I'll be honest. In the last episode, when I started that chant, I didn't know the rest of the chants. That's why I cut it short. I read the two lines in, and I was like, it just went, it's gone. I was like, uh-oh. So I just put my hands down. I was like, yes.
Yeah, so carry on with life. What so?
I was like, good times. But yeah, it's because it went out of my head. But I thought, do you know what? I'll make a little cheeky confession about
that. You know what? I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, it had to be done. Because I watched it back and I thought, do you know what? It's not obvious. I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to say it. Forget it. I'll just say it. Who cares?
Yeah. But I think they should give him a contract because he's done exactly what he should have done. He's came in and has been our striker when we needed him. And he scored, how many goals did he score? 5 goals?
Yeah, he scored quite a few. I'm not sure exactly how much, but he did score quite a bit.
4 goals, either way. And he scored some decent goals as well. And the biggest thing of all is not even the fact that he's scoring goals. He's not been bad on the pitch, yeah, but it is exactly what you said before, which is he has that passion. He's a United fan.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of uplifting sort of attitude that you've got when you've got that passion, when it's not about getting deals, it's not about getting money, it's not about what sort of promotions can I get, who can sponsor me, that sort of stuff. When you're going on, you're playing for Man United because you want to play for Man United and you want them to win, and you're not got an ulterior motive. Not that I'm saying that others have ulterior motives, they may not, but you know, previous experiences has shown that you've got other players that are there too busy concentrating on, you know, fashion lines, trying to launch this, trying to launch that.
Yeah.
And concentrate on your game first. When you're established.
Lingard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is I understand players doing stuff like that when they're close to the end of their career. Because then you have to have something to keep you going afterwards. I get that. I completely understand that. So when you're in a position like Ronaldo is, like Messi, when they're launching lines, when they're doing this, that, they are because they can, and they've built their legacy, they're in a position where they don't need to prove themselves anymore, then yeah, do what you want. Concentrate on that stuff. But even then, those guys don't let that affect the football. Whereas these guys, they're concentrating too much on dabbing on the pitch, and they sit and work on celebrations in training rather than concentrating on scoring a bloody goal.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. And that's not what they should be doing.
Well, now they've got plenty of time to be doing all that sort of stuff, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and that's the attitude that you don't want. Yeah, fair play. I've seen a lot on Instagram and stuff like that. A lot of our players have been on and training and working out and stuff like that, and all he's been saying that he's had video calls with all of the players. He's had a massive video call with every single one on the team, and they've all got their own training regimes, and they have to follow it.
Yeah.
But it's a story. It's that mindset, isn't it? It's mindset. Yeah. If you've got the passion to play for us, if you want to win for the purpose of, yeah, I want United to win, I'm a Man United fan. And you don't even have to be a Man United fan. I'm not saying that everyone who plays for United has to be a United fan, because that's not how football works. End of the day, it is still a career. But you still have to have that passion for the team winning and not be
professional too. So just because it is off season or because of what has happened, that doesn't mean that you don't work on yourself. Then, like, even now, you look at, say, the great players. Let's use the obvious Ronaldo. Do you think that guy's not at home right now, still doing his drills and everything?
Oh yeah, 100%.
He's working 100%. He's working 150%. He's working just like it's a normal season. That's what I think most players should adopt. Speaking of working, is the UFC 249. 249. It's like a roller coaster of shenanigans. 1 minute it's on, 1 minute it's off. 1 minute it's in Dubai, and then it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, then it's going to be in Russia, then it's going to be here. Then people are flying off somewhere, and then they're not flying, and then all of a sudden everything's locked down, and it's not happening. Fuming.
Yeah, I saw it coming though. At the end of the day, like, I know we said it in the last, I said it in the last episode about Dana coming out and saying it's happening, it's definitely happening, it's happening. And he was saying that up until 3 days ago. You know, and it was only yesterday.
It's still on his Instagram right now saying it's happening on the 18th of April. But it's not. It's not because then
ESPN and Disney have stepped in and said, calm down.
See, this is another thing because there's so many times it's been on and off and on and off, change of opposition. To be honest, Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson would have been a wicked fight, but not as good as the Khabib Tony fight. So I'm kind of a little bit glad it's now off because just in case Tony ended up sustaining like an injury or something like that, because Gaethje's still a sick fighter, you might end up, you never know, you might have planted him, and if that had happened, then the Tony versus Khabib fight would have lost its value a bit. So I'm kind of glad it's not happening. But it's just strange, like it's on off. But yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of glad it is now completely off because I'd rather watch the Khabib Tony fight without any sort of blemishes in between.
What do you think about this whole Fight Island thing?
Fight Island, seeing that I didn't really know too much about until recently. I think it was you who I think you told me so long ago. Was it Harry or?
Might be Harry.
And I think it might have been Harry then. Yes, Harry. But yeah, no, yeah, I heard about this island thing from one of the lads, and I was just thinking, yeah, how rich is Dana White?
Oh, he's loaded, man. He's loaded.
To buy an island, he's rich. He's that sort of rich where he's just like, it's stupid. He could slap you in the face and he'd just be like, oh, whatever. He's a grand, no, walk on sort of thing. That's stupid. It's true. He's buying an island just so UFC fights can happen.
Mm.
That's mental. That's social distancing to a different level. He's social distance from the whole world. He's social distance from every country. He just got right that little patch of land there that's in the middle of the water somewhere. Right, we'll just go there. It's ridiculous. But
it's amazing how much money some people can have.
Yeah.
Because the thing is so many people own islands. Ronaldo owns an island.
Does he?
Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo owns an island. He bought an island to just Bance,
just to put his Ballon d'Ors. Here you go, one trophy here, one trophy there.
Island, but he bought an island about 3 years ago.
Wow.
Or something like that. He bought an island. He's got an island.
That is madness. Thing is, deserve it though, because when you look at them both are grafters. They've worked hard for what they have. But at the same time,
he was there from the start. He's been there from day dot. He's built the UFC into the brand that it is.
Remember, we watched that fight not long ago, probably 2-3 months ago, in your flat. The 25-minute long fight.
Oh yeah, which one was it? Royce Gracie versus Ken Shamrock.
Yeah. Different times.
Most boring thing I've ever seen in my life if you're not a fight fan.
Yeah.
We're watching it and even we're getting bored and we're fight fans. If someone that could not be something that could carry on, and obviously it didn't. It was just them lying on the floor, just trying to choke each other out.
Get a few little licks in here and there. And the crazy thing is, it got to a point where it was such a cowboy sport back then. Like, how long ago was that? Probably 15 years, would you say?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure when it was.
10 to 20 years in between there somewhere. But how cowboy were the rules? Because they were down for 25 minutes, which is a scheduled time. That finished, but because the crowd wasn't happy because they wasn't stood up and they weren't throwing at each other, the referee extra 5 minutes. Extra 5 minutes, take it and go. And then they started fighting again, and then obviously ended up on the ground again. So there was another 4 minutes of just them holding each other like that. But it was crazy. But then he went through that period, built his thing up, and now look at it. Look at the spot now. Wow.
Yeah, involved when UFC was he involved from day dot when UFC first started?
Who, Dana?
Has he been there from day one?
I think so. I think he was the guy who started it. Him and some other guy didn't not co-found it or something.
I don't know. I don't know whether he's been there from the start or whether he came into it later on and just started. I'm not sure. Because I don't know. Because a lot of the UFC stuff came from Pride, didn't it? So Pride was there beforehand, and then UFC bought over Pride, I'm pretty sure.
Right, I'm just checking that. Let's see. I'll type in Google, trusty Google. When did Dana start UFC? Right, so UFC's apparently been around since 1993, and Dana's been the president of it since 2001.
Right, okay, so he didn't start it then. So he came into it later on.
Yeah. But I think in that time when we watched that fight with Shamrock, another guy, I think he was the guy who was doing the matchmaking at that point. But he has built that company from the ground up.
Yeah. What it is now, he's built that company.
Yeah. Mad, absolute madness.
And the thing is he's he's not a posh guy. For the amount of money that he's got, he's just a standard.
Yeah,
How it is. I don't really care.
yeah. Like even like with his clothing and everything that he wears, he's just a normal guy. You would never tell.
Standard guy. If you saw him walking down the street, you wouldn't think he's worth as much money as he's worth.
No, but 4.2 billion. Mad. Him and the Fertitas, Lorenzo Fertitta. Oh, the Fertitas. I'm sure they were the ones who founded it, didn't they? And then they sold. I want to say, am I wrong again?
I don't know. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just asking the question. Genuinely, I have no idea. That's why I'm asking. I have no idea.
To be honest, neither am I. But it says CEO.
I remember the first time I watched UFC. I'll be honest, I still remember it to this day. First time I ever watched UFC was because my my cousin, brother, whatever you want to call him, our boy, the infamous Harry.
Oh yes.
Said to me, Brock Lesnar is in the UFC. I was like, oh, cool. All right, let's go and watch it. So it was when Brock Lesnar was fighting UFC 80 something. All right, UFC 80 something.
Shall I find you exactly what it is?
Who was he fighting? Frank Mir, wasn't it? Yeah, Frank Mir.
It was UFC 81 versus 81. Frank Mir.
81.
All right, so.
Okay, so yeah, UFC 81. After fact checking, UFC 81, Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir. That's when I watched it, and that was only because I was a wrestling fan back in the day. So when I heard Brock Lesnar, I thought, okay, let's just watch it. And then from there, I thought, this is great. This is fantastic. Two guys just beating the crap out of each other. What more do you want? The thing I was watching boxing for before then, anyway. Boxing I've always watched anyway because my dad's been a big boxing fan. So that's just been from when we were younger anyway. And but it's just crazy from what it was before to what it's become now.
So when Brock Lesnar started or debuted in the UFC, was it still the whole just one full round of 25 minutes?
No. Proper rounds.
Proper rounds. Okay.
Proper rounds. Proper fighting as we are today. Pretty much the same thing. Obviously you got some minor rules that have changed, but the format that's in today is what it was in.
Right. Fair enough.
I started watching it, and it's great. Brock Lesnar in the UFC. Brock Lesnar was a beast in the UFC. He's a beast in everywhere. Doesn't make a difference. He's a beast in his.
Did he lose some guy with crazy red hair?
Huh?
Did he lose some guy with some crazy red hair who looked like he was like half his size?
He lost to Kane. I don't know who else he lost to. Did he lose to anyone else? Overeem. Was it Overeem?
I feel like I don't know, in my head, I feel like he's lost against somebody who had like red hair, but he looked like he was half his size. And I don't know
I think he's lost to Overeem, and he lost to Kane.
Kane's a good. Kane's a solid loss, but
that's when Overeem was on the juice though. That was Overeem on the juice.
That was Overeem.
That's just annihilating everyone Overeem before he came off the juice, and then Ngannou, decapitated him.
He sent him to a six. He hit him so hard, my dad got checked out.
How's that?
He's gone. He's gone. But he clotted him. He clotted him.
That shot will forever live in my memory. That uppercut made him contemplate his whole life and his existence in a space of 5 seconds.
It was so quick and all for such a big guy. It was just like a boom, and it's like, ooh, goddamn.
It's the face. It's just the way he did it. He just went flying back like, it's happening. And a bit.
It was like that and the Wilder Fury first knockdown in the first fight, but the two knockdowns which I won't forget, because they were both just kind of crazy. Just Fury was an unbelievable sort of character who got back up from it. But yeah, we're on.
It was a bad shot though, and it wasn't too long ago. Was when Deontay Wilder took out what's his face now?
Brazil.
Huh?
Dominic Brazil.
No.
He just goes.
What's his name now, man?
What country is he fighting from?
The Brazilian lad, was he not?
Luis Ortiz.
Ortiz. Yeah, Ortiz. Ortiz.
Ortiz in the 7th round.
Is he not Brazilian? Where's he from?
He's Cuban, I think, or Colombian.
Cuban. All right, okay. Yeah, that one. That knockout. That was a horrible, horrible knockout. That shot was just out of absolutely nowhere.
It was a scrambler. It was a brain teaser. It was like one of them. He let back from that shot. So he was like, he didn't know what one was. Boom, two, and then he was gone. He was gone.
And then lights out. It came from absolutely nowhere.
And he was losing. He was losing that fight every single round until that final 10 seconds off that round, and he ended it.
Do you know what I watched recently? And I was just sat obviously in isolation as you do. I was sat watching old Prince Nassim fights.
Oh.
Guy was just too good, wasn't he?
It was crazy how unorthodox his movement was, but he used to generate some wicked power from it though. Like the shots he used to land.
And the thing is that's why he was so difficult to fight, because you had no idea which angle he was going to come at you from.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was so elusive, it was unbelievable as well. You'd throw 6-7 shots, and he just moved side to side, moved back, whatever he is. He'd twist his body into all sorts of positions, and he wouldn't get touched. And then he'd smile at the guy. He had people beat before he got into the ring. That's the thing with him as well.
He was a proper showman, a real showman, and he was that guy who he stepped the game up. Obviously, after you had your Ali moments, stuff like this, but then he came. We said from the UK scene, he was a showman. Him and Eubank around the same time were the people who were proper. Like, you imagine that even till this day, there's not that many people who do what he did.
No one does it. No one does it. They try it, but it doesn't work. And then when they do try it, they say that I lost because I had a big bodysuit on.
No. That's the most cringiest thing you probably could have ever said. Just be quiet, man. You lost. Better man won.
Just take the loss. That, along with I broke my big toe, was one of the worst excuses I've ever heard in my life.
Them two might sit down together one day, but I think we need to rethink our excuses because this is not working. And the crazy thing is, he said in one of those I can't remember, like behind the scenes episodes, whatever they shoot. He goes, I wear a 45-pound weight thing on, and I train. So then that 40 pound, which is 5 pounds lighter than what he said he used to wear, shouldn't have affected him.
That was on Joe Rogan's.
Was it?
Yeah, it was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He said that.
And now he's gone 40 pounds, which is lighter than what he says he trains in. Took his legs away, and then because of that, he couldn't do what he wanted to do. And he was like, as a fighter, it's probably a good thing that he has to justify and thinks he still is the best and can beat him. But in reality, you kind of think, do you know what? Say it to yourself internally, but don't say it to the camera because it just sounds.
Because it's one of those things. When he's known as, before now, obviously, he was known as one of the baddest men in the world.
Yeah.
The best knockout power that anyone's got in the world right now. That can match Tyson's whole record, beat Tyson's record of number of knockouts.
Yeah.
When you're that guy, when you've got that fear in you, of people have that fear. Don't come out with stupid excuses because people are just going to think that enigma's gone. You know what I mean? I know Tyson did it. I broke my back spinal. I know that happened. But still, you knew that guy was still the baddest man on the planet. So try going up to Tyson now and think spinal. You will definitely have some spinal failures. I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. It's just one of those. It takes that enigma of the guy away. It takes that fear factor that guy has away.
Yeah, and it even takes a bit of his own sort of his respect for like what people would have for him. Because if you're gonna lose, you want to lose like Joshua. He lost. Said, you know what? I've had a shocker. I lost. Nobody else is to blame. The guy who was a better man. And then he came back and he beat him. And do you know what? Everyone said, fair enough. Now they've forgotten about Ruiz and that loss. But Wilder, now, even if he comes back like David Haye, after his toe shenanigans, now, even if he came back and he won, people would still remember the toe.
After his toe shenanigans.
You know what I mean? And even he tried to rectify it too against Tony Bellew, where his Achilles had ripped. And he carried on fighting because he was thinking, I need to rectify my toe stuff. But still, that doesn't matter because that's etched in people's mind now. So they're going to
I
still
don't know
say.
why that sounds so wrong.
But it's true though, isn't it? So you just keep your mouth shut. If you're going to lose like Joshua.
Take it like a man. You lost. Move past it. But I suppose how many people do that these days? You know, how many people actually take the loss as a loss? Very few do. I mean, you look in football, you look anywhere else, they don't take the loss as it is. They've got an excuse somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That old school attitude, that gentleman's attitude of we lost. It is what it is. We lost.
It's a bigger. Do you reckon it's because it is a bigger thing now to lose? Whereas in the past, you had like the greats who, let's just say, in boxing or whatever, and they used to lose, and it was a minor. They'd go out the next fight, and it doesn't matter they lost or what. But then the next fight, they'd win, and everybody would back be their friend again. Whereas now, everyone's so scared to lose. As soon as they get one loss or two losses, for them, it feels like the world's come down. And even though, like I said, their sponsorships and stuff start getting pulled off too, because having that O on your record is probably better than not, obviously. But do you reckon it is playing a massive part now in the mentality of all these people?
It has to.
Surely.
But it shouldn't do. It shouldn't do. You know what I mean? You fight. Someone's got to lose.
Yeah.
Someone's got to lose. It's not unless you obviously have biased judges which give draws, but someone's got to lose.
Right. He is a question then. So someone we both know and support and hope and pray that he keeps winning. Khabib. Imagine now he fights Tony and he loses. How would you see Khabib going forward? Would you see him as that same crazy sort of fighter that he is, or would you start thinking, damn, Ferguson is probably the best in the world? Or do you think he could ever come back and be seen as an untouchable guy? Because right now, the way I see Khabib is untouchable. I can't see him ever.
Untouchable. But at the same time, yeah, I reckon. I don't think I would say that that's it. You know, he's done. He's done for. There's no coming back from it. But what I would say at that point in time is, if Tony beats him convincingly, if they do fight and Tony convincingly beats him, then I would definitely say. I mean, there's no way that you can't say it that Tony is the better fighter.
And then would you say then that the prize fighting part of it, do you think they'd pay Khabib just as much money for his next fights, or do you think his value would be he would be devalued? Because that's why I think everybody's now afraid, is because as soon as they lose,
because he doesn't bring anything else to it. If you know what I mean. So Conor would never be devalued because Conor brings money outside of UFC.
Yeah.
Conor, the name that Conor is, the way he is, the attitude that he has, and how he is, he fills up arenas just because it's him.
Yeah.
You know, just because people just want to see him. That's it. Yeah. Khabib's a good fighter. You've had loads of other fighters over the years that wouldn't fill up arenas just because they're a good fighter, because they don't bring anything to it. Yeah. This comes back to that whole Prince Naseem thing as well. Look at Prince Naseem. Yeah, okay, fine. He was a good fighter. But I wouldn't have said that he's, you know, if you look at all his fights and stuff like that, they weren't massive names that he fought. He had some handful of names that were big names. Champions that he fought. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. But a lot of the people filled into his arenas and sold out those shows because of him.
Yeah.
Because of him. Just because you want to see him. And it's the same thing with anything. If you're an entertainer, you're going to want to get more people. You know, more people are going to want to come see you if you're an entertainer than nothing else.
See, now this is like a roundabout thing that we were talking about with footballers and their whole social media presence and stuff. Now, let's say Lingard, who on social media is trying to put himself out there. Do you think this same thing applies for them? Yes, United obviously haven't been doing well. And he's keep himself relevant or keep himself valued? Or do you think that's just for a fighting game?
So what I mean is to have that something that you can sell, yeah? To be that entertainer. But that goes hand in hand with being a good fighter. You have to be good at what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't have someone that's a horrible fighter that comes out and starts dancing and being a clown and stuff like that, then loses every fight. No one's going to care. You still have to be winning. You still have to be doing something. You still have to be good at your craft. So Lingard is not. Let's be honest. He's not. Lingard is not he's not a great player. if you look at Paul Pogba, Pogba does all this stuff, right? He gets stick for doing all this stuff because he's not performing as he should do. If Pogba was scoring goals and performing the way he was at Juventus, yeah, if you had that Paul Pogba, and every day he had a different hairstyle, every week he had, a new celebration, no one would care. If he's scoring goal after goal, assist after assist, you would not care. Look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo does his, a celebration. He does the sue when he scores. Yeah, no one says anything. No one's going to say a thing because he's the best player in the world.
Yeah,
Proving it. He's a good player. You have to have natural talent. You have to have talent to go along with it. You have to be good at your craft to have that cockiness, to have that arrogance. It's the same thing as Mayweather. Look at Mayweather. He's arrogant. He's cocky, but he is arguably pound for pound one of the best fighters that have ever lived.
Do you reckon if he wasn't, let's say Mayweather, if he wasn't then cocky and arrogant and this and that, you reckon he'd earn as much as he would have if he didn't have that persona?
No way. No chance.
So then it is just a fighting thing, then, isn't it?
It's
personality in a fighting sport to make money. If you don't, then you're gonna fall foul of not making that much.
Exactly, but this thing, Khabib has that thing right now. Is that enigma of Khabib is undefeated. He's the man that can't be beaten. So people will fill in to see Khabib because of that. Fight fans will watch Khabib because he's just a dream to watch.
Yeah.
It's education watching him.
Yeah.
It's brilliant masterclass when you watch him. But others will fill in the rings because he is a name, because he's won every single fight. He's beat the man who was seen as he can't be stopped, Conor.
Yeah.
He dismantled the man who couldn't be stopped. So that's that thing there. So Khabib's not got that showmanship. He's not got anything to do it. He's just a humble guy. He's a nice guy. He's a good Muslim brother that's just there doing his thing. Yeah. But if he wasn't as good as he was, no one would give him a second look. Look how long it took for him to get the credit that he's getting.
Yeah.
Think about it. He was taking names long before his name was ever put even in contention for a championship fight.
Yeah.
He was destroying people left, right, and center before it happened. And a lot of people, those who don't watch UFC, those who don't think it, only know the name of Khabib because he beat Conor.
Yeah. True. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know much of Khabib until who did he fight? I knew him for the Al Iaquinta fight. And obviously knew him, I think he fought, what's his name? Can't remember the guy's name. But he fought one guy before him. And that was the only time. But that was like so recent. It was not that long because he's had a 28-fight career. I've only known him for his last 4 or 5 fights, which again, and I'm into this sort of stuff. Obviously not as deep as some people, but I'm still into it. But even then, I didn't really know.
I'm the same. It wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, "Oh, I've known about Khabib from day one." I've not. He was probably into his 20th fight before I heard his name.
True, same. And that's why I reckon the losing today against losing in the past is a massive difference for these fighters, because it makes that much difference in what you're going to get paid in the end of the day.
It does. Right. Okay, we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah.
People are probably bored. That's a lie. You can't be bored of us. We're amazing. I think it's time. Let's call it a day. Let's end it. Let's end this episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share it as much as you can.
Share, and like.
To be going out to the masses. And we shall see you in the next episode.
See you in the next episode. Right, Scotty. Hey, well,
Afiyet olsun.
Enjoy your food.